When I was young, we had a little house, 2 up and 2 down, with a little garden and an outside loo. There were 3 girls, and we had the back bedroom with a 3-foot bed, and we all 3 slept in that until we got left as we got married. And you never got cold, you see. Your sisters kept you warm in the winter. And we left school at 14 in those days, and my eldest sister left first, and then she went to Marks and Spencer's. Then I left, and I went to Marks and Spencer's, and my young sister left, and she went to Marks. It was considered a good job. Sir Simon Marks and Spencer's, remember? Well, Sir Simon Marks, we knew he was coming one day, and so we were all ready. This old man came up to me and he said, "How do you like being on this counter, my dear?" I said, "Oh, I like it very much," I said. And I told him all about what I did. And I said, "Excuse me, I can't talk again. Come in later. The manager's having a fit on the stairs. I think Sir Simon Marks is coming." And it was Sir Simon Marks I was speaking to. And he gave me a 50p rise. He said, "That's the sort of girl I like on my shop."
I would be sent off down to the fruit and veg shop to get some shopping for Mum, or maybe there was an amazing baker's on the corner of Townsend Street that had the most wonderful dripping cakes that we would go down, and I would be given the money to go down, and I can remember the cakes coming fresh out of the oven and that kind of thing.
The favourite shop at that time was my uncle's, the butcher's. On the way back home from school, I used to go into his butcher shop, and his son, who's just passed away, was a master mariner in the end, but at this particular time, he brought a monkey back. And they lived on the premises, you see, at the butcher's. And he had an old Jim horse. Do you remember the old Jim horses, you know? And this monkey would go up and down here, you know. I was at junior school. And in the end, they gave him away. They gave him away to a pub called the George Inn, which is on the corner of Milsom Street. And this is how friendly things were down there. And everybody used to keep on talking about the Mudway monkey, you know. And we thought it was one of us, but it wasn't. It was about this monkey, whatever he brought back.
He took a great big piece out of my leg once. And I remember Mrs. Mudway pouring iodine in it. "That'll do it, that'll do it." No, he took a piece out of my shin. It was a green monkey, I think it was. And he used to run up and down the wall. Before that outbuilding, you know, that just across it's built out a bit. There was nothing but a wall going right up to the woodyard. And they used to be chained to there, and we used to tease him, tickle him with sticks and stuff. And he broke loose one day, and I can remember him doing, like, biting, taking a piece out of my leg. A lot of my mates from Dockham, then they started at the railway bridge. But Dix's Corner was the cut-off point in the old days for anybody that was walking around on their own at night, because from Dix's Corner down, they got gradually rougher and rougher and rougher, especially before the slum clearances. You know, there were a lot of...
If you came from Lower Dockham, you didn't tell them you did, because it was the place nobody wanted to know you were there. But we were very proud of being, yes, we had a good life, and everybody was friendly.
They took out the area below the bridge. Everybody keeps on bringing up the bridge, don't they? Because that's where it really stopped.
And we bought a house just halfway up the hill in Leckhampton. Now, I was as good as them because I'd come back, you see, but if I'd have gone up from Lower Dockham, I don't think they probably wouldn't have spoken to me, you know. But that's life, it's where you live. You didn't tell anybody, if you went for a job, you didn't say, I would have said I lived in 24 King Street, but I wouldn't say what district it was in, hoping they didn't know, because they wouldn't take you on. Well, you're poor, you see, and people don't like the poor people. I think sometimes they must feel guilty, because, I mean, and then again, how can you be rich and not worry when people are poor? But they don't, do they? As long as they don't see you. See, as long as they don't see it, they can deal with it.
Well, it was clearly much more of a workers' area rather than a professionals' area, if you like. All the houses in the area are sort of 2 up and 2 down type of size. They're not the larger houses at all. So it was always going to be more the skilled type of people. I wouldn't call it dangerous. It was interesting because the building which is now Normandy House used to be social services, and a lot of the cider drinkers used to sit on the wall outside. So there would, every day, there would be at least 5 or 6 old guys, you know, with their cider bottles, and they would sit along there. So I suppose people might have thought that they were a danger or a threat or something, but actually they weren't. They were just lovely, and they used to sit there quietly and drink their cider and then sort of fall over and go to sleep. So they weren't a problem at all. But there was lots of, lots of busyness, as you might say, yeah. Yeah, I suppose a certain vibrancy.
Well, the farms were very poor and a lot of drinking going on because of all the pubs. I mean, I think there were 12 pubs between Dix's Corner and the railway bridge at one time, which is 300 or 400 yards. And they used to say there was one on every corner, but that's not true. But I think the booze had a lot to do with it, the trouble sort of thing. I don't know.
People that never went down that area in those years of the 40s, 50s, and parts of the 60s, they never understood the area. They never understood the area. They never understood the people. And I don't think they wanted to know the other type of the people down the end of town. And that was such a great shame, really. You know, because it was a part of town which was an interesting area to get involved in.
Montpelier in that was built because the royalty started coming to the church, the old church in the middle of the high street, the parish church. Well, that was the original church. And then what they did was they discovered that there was the waters here, you see. And so they built Royal Well, so as the nobs could come from London and that, and just walk through Royal Well into the parish church. And so that all built up because of the waters. Cheltenham people are poor, proud and pretty. And they used to say the ladies was behind the lace curtains with nothing on the table, but they never said.
I didn't think, and I don't think even now, that people were thinking that, oh, they're the wealthy of that area of town and this is the poor area. This was an area which was poor and people did go through it, but they never stopped.
If you wanted to go to the shops, it was like a treat. Oh, we're going to Cavendish House today. Oh, goody, we're going, and you go in, you'd hold your parents' hand, couldn't run around, not allowed to run around, not allowed to scream. Shop assistants in Cavendish House were not allowed to walk down the promenade. They were, because they was like servants. And this was in the 1930s.
Once I went to the promenade about 7 or 8 years of age, and I was stopped by some colonial person or ex-officer of the Indian Army, and they were still living there then in about 51, 52. And I never had a tie on. And they said, well, you're not coming up here without a tie, boy, you know, this is actual words.
When my gran died, the high street shut for the funeral, and marked respect, because everybody knew everybody. You know, you could go into the chip shop over the road. Oh, is it for your nan? Yeah. You're going to Miss Nealon's. Oh, your mum's ordered some wool. And the shop owners knew you.
I don't suppose you could put into words what it was. It was not a commitment to be part of it, really. Not you're going to do this and you're going to do that. It was a part of saying, well, you wanted to become part of it. You weren't forced to stay there, you know? And it was sort of accepted that you be part of that lower end of the town. I suppose that's what sums it all up. And you're proud to be part of it.
I used to live it on the lower end of High Street. It was really good. I mean, I said I've been coming up town with my mum since I was, whatever, left school, 10 years. And everybody down here, Dad would go to the butcher's, go somewhere else to get his fresh fish and everything else. And as I was walking up the town, then you had a little corner that's called Bennington Street Cafe, and there was two old ladies in there. We had our rolls in there every morning, had a cup of coffee every single day going up there. We used to come to town every day. It was really good. Trevor Bond's next door, he was good. He had sold everything you needed. My dad used to go there for his pink paraffin and his blue paraffin. It was good, it was really good. It was good old days, it was better than now, much better.
I think it was really just the community spirit, everybody pulling together. I think you had a strong sense of community in those days, and everybody always helped everybody else out. So if you didn't have enough money to pay in a particular shop, you could just say, oh, I'll pay you next time I come, and you could take the goods away. So everyone was very supportive of everybody else. It wouldn't happen amongst the shops on the promenade, I don't think, but it certainly happened amongst the shops down here.
The community spirit's gone everywhere, I think, because we used to have to rely on each other so much. Today, everybody can afford everything. I mean, if somebody was in trouble, you would share your lunch with them. And if somebody needed something, there would be somebody in the street that would say, I've got it, I'll give them mine. So I think you get community spirit when you need each other, not when you can all do what you want. Don't you agree?
I miss working around the area, but nowhere near so much as when I first started, nowhere near. It's a great pity to say that, to be honest, it is.
There's people growing up today which don't realise what Cheltenham was like.
It's changed a lot. It used to be, years ago, it was really great to be down this end of town, but now it's not so great to be down here now. It's so quiet, isn't it? But when we had all the shops all the way along, it was a brilliant time to be here. That's the only thing that's changed, is the community. Nobody comes down here hardly now. But no, the people are nice. All the people are nice down here, so you can't moan about them. Cassie over the pub is normally drunk, but she's all right. It hasn't got that atmosphere right down the town now, down here. I said, we're all right, and around the shops we know, but otherwise there's nothing down here to get excited about, to be honest. I just got the cafe here and I've got to stay here, haven't I? But I love it, so that's it.
Unfortunately, the upkeep on the buildings is probably still the same. They're still dilapidated and run down. It would have been nice if the council had been able to inject some proper money to get things smartened up, but that's never happened, although there have been lots of campaigns over the years. Apart from that, well, of course, it's much more crowded, it's much busier. You know, there's lots of traffic. There are always lots of people on the street, even in those days. There's lots of people wandering up and down doing things. I think there are more closed shops now. There weren't any closed shops. They were all busy selling and buying and things. There was a huge, great second-hand furniture store down the road, about halfway down, which was so busy. You could hardly get in. You had to squeeze in with huge piles of all sorts of furniture all over the place, and we bought lots of our furniture in there.
They all promise it and do nothing. Every year I've been here, they said, don't worry, next year the Christmas lights will be up. It'll be like really, they better come and look at this place down here, it's going to be brilliant. Not once have they done it. No, ever since I've been here, never. We just put our own stuff in here and that's it. You don't get no street lights, you don't get nothing.
But it's always been there, that's the thing. Nobody's got rid of it. Nobody's flattened the area. There's not many places now which you can say anywhere has got the same sort of community which was there then. I think the amount of money involved to change that area will never ever be there. I don't think they ever will flatten it, but it'll go on its own slow way and it'll do all different little businesses that come in, and perhaps in another 40 years time there'll be somebody else like myself and yourself, what you're doing, sat here saying, what was it like in the 2017, you know? And you think, well, it hasn't changed, you know.